Hello, welcome back to Tony's Board Life. I, of course, am Tony, and I'm here with you with another project that I'm starting. So, I am going to play one of the scenarios of No Question of Surrender by GMT, series designers Adam Starkweather, um, and this is one of the smaller series. As you can tell, it's a very small map with a lot of everything that you kind of need on the side over here. So, what I wanted to do to start off with is kind of show you guys what I have and what's going on with these items, or what we're going to be dealing with. So, in this case, in this scenario, so I'll be doing scenario. I think it's 2, and let me get it up here real quick, and I can tell you more about it. Scenario 2, which is the Italians really attack. It's the ahistorical. It's the May 27th, May 27th turn. And here's the description. Suppose the Ariete division had coordinated a complete attack on Bir Hashim on the first day, as Rommel intended, rather than calling off the attack and bypassing the fortress to head north. This scenario examines the possible turn of events by allowing the full weight of the Ariete division to be brought to bear on the Free French. Okay, so a couple things we're going to do. Play begins with step 4, and steps 1 through 3 do not apply to this scenario. A lot of that's the weather phase and things like that. So we'll be over there. So what we have is we have 3 of the, let's see here. So we have the Ariete division, and so we have 3 different regiments. I'm not exactly sure on what to call them, but regimentio. Okay, and as well as an independent and an artillery park. So we have 3 of the regiments. The Italian regiments here are going to be going after Bir Hashim, which is what you see here. And the French actually have a few items here. You're kind of seeing what they're going to have. The one thing you don't see is they are also going to be using, we have these anti-weapons here. And what's interesting is if you notice, I don't think we actually need that one, is that we have these gun units here, which are like like whether they're good or bad, or whether they're a dummy counter. Or in this case, we have the second 2-1 anti. And so these units, some of them say dummy on it. So we should have 12 here, which I only see 10. So maybe there's only 10. Let's see here. But so we've got 6. Okay, yeah. So 6 of them here represent these guys right here. So what's going to happen is and then I'm going to place these units, and I'm not going to know which is going to get placed. I'll kind of do a little bit of solo scenarios. So these could be an anti or an anti-tank unit or so, or they could be the dummies. So I'm not going to know until they get close enough. Now, if you notice, so these actually have a range. This one's got a range of 3, while this one has a range of 4. So as the approach comes in, they'll be able to, once they hit the range, they'll reveal themselves. So they'll move again, and then we'll see if they're actually able to attack with that. So basically, this is a siege game. And in this case, we're going to be, the Ariete division is going to be sieging Bir Hashim. And we have our units right here are going to try to actually protect ourselves. So that's kind of the idea. And with that, so what's the victory conditions? It's always important to know what the victory conditions. So at the end of the scenario, the Italian player receives 1 victory point for each French step eliminated and each unsuppressed Italian unit in Bir Hashim Hex. So that's anywhere inside the walls, as you can see here. If the Italian player has 14 or more points, the Italian player wins. All other results are a French victory. So basically, as the Italians, we have to achieve you have to achieve the 14 points. So how's this going to happen? Where they're going to come through? Let's go ahead and we're going to take a look at the setup spots for the Italians for the Regimento, and I'm going to show you where they're going to come in at, and then so that way you guys can see kind of the idea of how things are going to go. So let me kind of get things moved around and set up, and we'll go from there. In this scenario, the Italians will be coming from the east, which is going to be on the right-hand side of the map, and they're going to be coming into around this area. The Italians will be starting from 4 different hexes. I can choose which units come from where, but to kind of show you, so we have A, so they can come in from the top, B, which is kind of the middle, and then C or D, which is the bottom right here. A couple of advantages of A is that it is specifically on a road, so that makes it easier for them to come in. B, unfortunately, it's not harder, but it does take more movement points to get up there. And of course, C and D, on the other hand, are both on roads. Now, the way it's going to be set up, so I'll be choosing which is going to go where and how it's going to go. And with that, one other place for the setup is the artillery parks. So we have our artillery parks here. They can see anything into the Bir Hashim, so not a problem. It can see anywhere. It's an artillery park, so it can bombard with that. Okay, so I've set up my Italians. So I've put my independents up here in A, and one of the main reasons is because they actually do have some better movement points, the 32 and stuff like that. So they do have better movement points than some of the other units. And I mean, we've got like 26 or so to move for the leaders. Okay, so the independents are in A. I have put the 132nd here in B. And I have played the first scenario, which is a really good learning scenario, by the way. Recommend it very highly, especially if you're just getting into it. But I've put them in B. That is where they actually come and start off on the first scenario. So I kind of have an idea of what I need to do in that to get them to Bir Hashim. And finally, I have put the 8th in the C box. They're going to come from the south, the southwest, or the south. Yeah, they're going to come from the southwest or southeast and move northwest into Bir Hashim. So I have my Italian set up. Now let's take a look at kind of the setup areas for the French. So the 1st French Brigade, the 13th DBLE, is going to be setting up in the 2BLE deployment, which is anywhere in and throughout here. The 2nd DBS will be deployed in the BP1, which is this area right in here. And knowing that they are coming from this area, that's probably going to be a main focus in here. And finally, the second, another part of the 2nd DBS is going to be deployed up here just to be safe. I need to move those out of the way so I don't have those. So they're going to be the 2BM on that one. The artillery is going to be put in any hex. I can put in any hex as long as it's not a mined hex. Now, for mine, there are two levels of mine. There's a light mine and a heavy mine. So the heavy mine is like this right here, which is a red. A light mine, it's really hard to see, but right here, right here is a green dot in the center. So you're looking at the dots in the center. So as long as it's not, basically you can't set them up on the outside of really the fort with that. So the artillery can go there. And finally, the independent, the 22nd CNA, 17 sappers, the 10 gun unit markers are also placed in any non-minefield Bir Hashim hex, but setup restrictions for AT guns must be observed. Once I get those set up, I will go through those. And then the leaders can stack with that. French are in full supply, so I'm not too worried about that at this point because this scenario is really not going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put these in their spots, and then I'll kind of show you everything that we got to set up. I've now set up the French. What I have kind of done is made a nice, good area, kind of coverage arced. I've got my gun unit set up, and again, I just set them up. I don't know which 4 are the dummy counters out of the 10, so I did set them up. I do have like my artillery kind of back behind a little bit, and I'm going to use the other people to help spot for me the units coming in to help with that. So we've got all those going through there, and then we have just our usual infantry units that are there to help. Hopefully, once they get in, or hopefully we can keep them from getting in, but once they get in and get close enough, then these guys will be able to do the direct assaults and things along those lines, because those have better assault numbers. Now, with this being a GTS game, this is a Chit activation system, and a couple of things that is kind of interesting is, one is in this scenario, we're only going to use only a few chits. And I've put the chits out, and we'll go through the setup on exactly what I need to do to get that set up. So let's kind of look at those chits and go from there. These are the chits that we're going to be going with. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go through the setup on the chit setup, and then we can go there. So place the French and Italian direct command chit. That's the Italian, and that's the French. So they are going to go into this cup to start off with. And the 1st Brigade Division activation chit, which is right here. This is the 1st French Brigade. Okay, good. The 103rd Ariete Division activation chit will be the first chit put into play. That is going to be this chit right here. So this is going to be the first one to put into play. So we're not going to do too much on that one. We're just going to put it to the side here because this is going to be the first one. And then I may also purchase additional formation activation chits for the 1st or the 2nd turn. Okay. I can select one Italian formation activation for free to be placed in the mug. So the one I'm going to place for free is going to be the artillery park. So that's going to be this unit right here. Let me get that into the light here. Okay. Here we go. There. So that one's going to go in for 3. I may now purchase additional activation chits for the 1st and 2nd turn. And these are with dispatch points, and I have 2 dispatch points. So for the 1st turn, or if I wanted to get it for this turn, it'll cost me 2 dispatch points. And currently the 103rd Ariete has 3. Is that right? Yes, 3 dispatch points. So if I do 1 for this turn, it's going to be 2 dispatch points, and I'm going to do that. So I'm going to also put in the 132nd in there as well, and I'm going to move my dispatch points down to 1. I've got 1 left. And what I'm going to do is for the next turn, I think I'm going to pull in the 8th. Now, I may get more dispatch points for the next turn. And so the the white units, these the independents are going to go to the side, and I can't get it this focus. There we go. So this group, we're just going to put it on the mat over here, out of the way. And so this one right here will be set up for turn number 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it on the turn that it's going to go on the turn track up here. Now we're all set to get started. I will go through. Now the French do not have any formation activation chits in this scenario. They do have the overall, and then they also do have the division activation chit. So they do have some. Mainly what they're going to be dealing with is kind of the siege mentality, so they're not going to really need much activation because of the way opportunity fire works in this game. Now, we're pretty much so set up for the scenarios. I do have the division cards, or the brigade card, the 103rd Ariete Division, and the 1st French Brigade. I have their cart set up, or their charge set up over here. And then basically they're all set to go. And the weather, of course, is clear, so we don't have to worry about that. And we're going to be all set to go. That's it for the setup. And as we go through the first turn, I will take my time going through it and explaining more of the rules as the first turn goes. But this completes the setup, and we'll be moving on to the first turn on one of the next videos. With that, I hope everybody has a great day, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.